The website is menti.com. So please are joining. Once you are in the website, this is the code that you are going to access. 4264 4200. Yes. Just put your hand once you are. Raise your hand if you have already accessed it. Okay, thank you. So, once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the workshop. Who are you as a teacher? First of all, my name is Ivan Goitia Ayumeda. I am a student of the MA in Applied Linguistics in English Language Teaching. Also, here is my email if you need further context. And okay, so now that I have introduced myself, I would like you to please go to the app and tell me a little about you. Yes, I would like you to please tell me your name, your context, where are you from, where are you working, and also your time working as an EFL teacher. Yes. You can like include years, months, or even if you haven't worked weeks, that is also okay. Any questions or any questions there? Just raise your hand if you have any questions. Sí, Ángela and Sebastián. José o Sebastián. 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 Okay. So Patricia. Who's Patricia? Patricia. Andrew. Also have Fatima and Cynthia. This one. Alejandra, José. You're having troubles just like copy your answer on the first page. Fatima. So from this, I'm seeing that all of you are either within the first 2 years of vision. And that's something that I noticed that you all have different experiences. Something that here I can point out is that Fatima, you're working at home. You were working at home. And when did you stop teaching at home?
Because I moved to Guanajuato, so I was
Oh. Okay, but still I consider that those are teaching classes because you're not involved in that class, but you have your own students. Okay? That was something that I found really interesting. Cynthia Vela is working, you're working at a private school.
Yes.
Yes. What can you tell about this private school?
In terms of,
Yes, like the teaching, like how has been your experience teaching in a private school?
okay, starting with the number of students, I think well, I thought that it would be easier to work with a smaller group, but it is not, because it is a private school, there are a lot of requirements, especially from the parents of these students. So I would say that it's the hardest part to deal with. So it has been a really challenging experience. Yes.
Yes, I can see it. Because I think that when we have private and public schools, they differ in like the expected outcome of teachers and students. And also we can here see that, okay, Jose, so Sebastian, you told me that you're working at several years of time. Yeah. Why has this happened?
First of all, it was because some people contact me to see if I can teach students some private sessions. And then they start calling. And that's this moment in which they call me again, they start calling. Now I am currently so like a workshop of building skills.
Okay, so similar to Fatima, you were working like.
It's insane.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can see this relation. Something that Patricia, something that is really interesting here in your participation. I don't have much experience yet as an EFL teacher. Why do you say this?
Because I don't know, I don't feel like I have much experience with it. I mean, I started working formally just recently because for that my experience was mostly even like tutorship and being a tutor and all that, and having like small one-on-one private lessons. But they weren't as regular as these now, and now that I have a person a whole major and I have to like, different kind of responsibilities. Like I come to the tutoring, my lesson plans, like every week at a certain day. And all of that's why it's pretty different, but I still feel like I don't have much experience because I would like to have more experience in different contexts so I can be more prepared.
Okay, that's a really interesting insight. You mentioned that when you had a coordinator, you started to gain experience, right?
Well, not really much. I also think that my other experiences were part of the building, like the experience and stuff. But like what I mean is that I would like different kind of experiences so I can be more like prepared or more experienced.
Okay, getting more experience. And Fatima, Sebastian, do you have like a coordinator in those classes?
Well, yes, we have decided
Uh,
but we are the ones that plan to have.
You know, like having, setting our risk plan for our regions. This is using that we don't have to submit to some place.
okay. Yes, because, what?
No, Patricia.
Patricia is mentioning, like, like, I was giving out, I was like turning my lesson class, but you were also designing lesson plans, but you didn't have to turn them in, okay? So I think that we have, really interesting design here. Angela, could you please tell us about you? You're working with first grade students, you have 11 months.
Yeah, I started working in the pandemic was still going on, so I started working here in Guanajuato, and I worked with, from fourth to sixth grade. So it was a hybrid mode. It was really challenging because before that working experience, I
So,
worked in night. And then I did my servicio profesional in a primary school, public primary school in Celaya. And then I applied for another job at the lake, and I was teaching first and second grade, but then I quit. And now I'm working with first grade students at secondary school here in Guanajuato. And I'm like having different experiences in private and public school, so I getting used to the differences maybe used to context.
yes. Okay, and we see you are telling that you have 2 classes, basically for hours. And, okay, so you have worked for 5 months. What can you tell me about this?
Well, I have worked like previously, but formal in an institution for 5 months. And it's the first time I work with adults in a private school, so I feel like this pressure that they are paying for a service, so I have to be like very with the timing and with the material very strict with myself.
Okay,
Because I have to work with children and I have worked with children before, kinder and like very young children. And I haven't felt like that before until now that I work with adults.
okay. And just to continue through this version, I have a question that I think that most of you have had experience outside the classroom, right? And you have like working this private lessons and so on. Would you consider this outside experience part of your teaching experience? Would you count those months, those years as teaching experience? Yes, everyone agrees.
Yeah, because I didn't have like tutoring session before my formal jobs or something like that, so like having a job really was actually nice.
But would you consider, like, if you have had this experience, would you consider part of your experience?
Yeah.
Okay. So, just like as a quick insight, I'm really different to you. I have about 6-7 years of experience. I have worked in universities mostly. I am not from Guanajuato, as you can probably See, we have heard my speaking in Spanish. I'm from Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua. I have worked in the University of Ciudad Juárez, in the Milenio, for the Tecnológica de Ciudad Juárez. And probably, like, we're different, but I like to see that you are just beginning. And I made this workshop especially for you, that you're in your first years. Okay? So, right here, okay? So I would like, in your Menti app, this question is going to show up. And I want you to please just quickly discuss it with the person, well, with the people next to you, okay? I think that we can even find as teachers, we have discussed that you are teachers, that you have been teachers for like a couple of years. So you discuss with the community, discuss with people around you, what are the characteristics of a good EFL teacher for you? So please take a minute to discuss. Then you can go. If you want to start writing them down. Yes, it's
And one also like mentioned, well, like, going to beach. So you have to learn,
And now I think
not
that's
just something that it's like,
you
have to teach learning versus, and of course, try to not be, didn't know about them. Try the best way to for the understand that.
So I think that you have already authored your words, and right here we can select a word map. And something that I noticed is that patience is something that is quite, can you elaborate on this? Why patience is so crucial for good EFL teaching?
I think it is important because we need to be aware of, depending on the level or the proficiency of students in this language, it's like, probably we need to elaborate more in instructions, for example, or other ways they can do their activities. So we need to be really patient on this part because they need this support from us. And we need to find the best way to do that, but in a good one.
Okay, yeah, good. So we can track the pace of the students, so we can work in that pace.
And also, we have been learning during the BA, we already know that learning a language
not a linear process. So maybe in one class, our student is going to have, I don't know, the third is correctly, but in the other one, she or he may forget the word, sorry. And that doesn't mean that he or she is not learning, but it's just like having this process to acquire the language. So we have to be patient and aware that this process is happening. Oh, that's
You're bringing out like a really interesting concept, awareness. Do you see awareness here? Yes, and you know, like we can elaborate on what you said, that we have to be aware of the processes that students go through in the learning. Okay, so thank you, Hannah. Also, like something that I see here is sources of knowledge. Can you elaborate on this? Source of knowledge. What we was.
well, I wrote knowledgeable,
Uh-huh.
and I think it's related to sources of knowledge. What I consider that is important is that besides being prepared and know the language, like the language that you are going to teach, you have to read about whatever thing is happening in your classroom. I mean, I think that you shouldn't stop learning if, after, for example, the BA. And also you have to consider the different sources of knowledge in terms of, for example, resources, material, like all the things that are happening in your classroom and that concerns you as a teacher. So I think it's related to that.
Okay.
For me, I think that's more to know about this theoretical part. It is also important to know, according to the level or the context of our students, to know their needs and the interests, because that will give us a more, let's say, broad concept of what they need or the things that we are going through in the process. So it is more important to know also about them. For example, in my case, if I'm working with teenagers, I need to know even more about, I don't know, emotions or how to approach certain things at that stage.
Yes, I think that you and I shared this, like that this concerns you as a teacher. Because sometimes like, you know, we brought again this concept of awareness. You say that you have to be aware of the emotions of the students, especially the teenagers, like okay, they're going through these years. Those years that we have, like we all have been through those years. Okay. And okay, also see charisma. That's something you need to elaborate on this. What about charisma? Why is it important for you?
But I also because considering as a good teacher, I will also say that he's a teacher that students will they have not just in the home that they are having. And I think that it's gonna be the same if you're a teacher that is also a teacher that shows like element like that passion of being teaching from a class. I think that it will be also helpful for students and will engage them to be pay attention in the class or be participating because they want to share the same thing that you explore in the class.
Yes, and I think that now that you mentioned this charisma, like, to be a teacher, to be remembered, and then you were having a discussion about this, about like the English teacher is the teacher who always cries. Yes. Why do you think this happens? Because you know, like people, you know, students are bad with English teachers, you know. And before we continue, do you see any other words that sparks curiosity in you? Something that I was like considering to your comments, is like consider the class context, consider the students different, and then you brought about teenagers, you know. Teenagers, they have like a different mindset about it. That's something that we are aware. And I'm not asking you to like to learn all about the things that the leaders like. But I think that, and this is something that I will point out, you having those 2 years and you understand the leaders, so you probably can know how to act in front of them.
Well, what I'm seeing, is that we wrote a lot of values, like moral values, like empathy, respect, politeness. So I think that, for example, in primary schools or in those early levels, we are teaching beyond the language. We are teaching also respect, empathy, or whatever value we are, well, yeah, and this is like, children do not learn the language, they learn from you as a person. And for example, as you mentioned, with high school levels, they are kind of make sense of themselves, like they're having the identity, they're forming their identity, so we also have to consider those values.
Yeah. And you know, that you mentioned about values and forming like identity. Well, I think that you have worked with adults, right? Yes, and like they're really like in elementary school. Do you think that values is like teaching values is stuff at elementary school? That values is something that we learn like all the way. Your responsibility for like BA students and master students are still like okay. So also, like now that we're talking about identity, how you see yourself, I think that's something that do you think that there is a moment in your life when you stop forming the way you see yourself? No. And we're going to keep this question we'll just keep this question in mind. Okay? So right here, I think that obviously we can map ourselves to teachers. Yes, you have experience teaching, you're doing a BA, you're preparing yourself to become like with this beautiful certificate that you went through this process. Yes, hopefully one day. So right here, I want you to please again discuss with the people around you, okay, about these perceptions that you now as a teacher had about teaching before you started teaching and now that you are teaching. Please take a minute to discuss with the people around you what are some of these perceptions that you and that will happen.
I don't know, like, folder or something. I mean, I didn't think I was going to do, like, some pictures, like, maybe came out in really, like, it's like, you know, very so easily, but then. But now, what I probably then now to write students on all of it. So it is not like it's moving out, it's once fingers in a lot. Not like and I think that but yeah, I thought that having I have so bad, but she makes me love what's a very nice one, right? And we don't know what that is, but like, they're like, I think it's very personal. Like,
Probably were you, like, that year, like, what you nice to be all around, no, it's something that's I think that a couple of institutions are based around that, and it's there's something with yes. Like, yeah, like I said, I don't really like it now that the teacher was like, oh, yeah, I'm so. But I see also there is some getting something for the many.
So we need to start wrapping up everything, so we can get this. So we have discussed all of these perceptions, okay? And I have very like, like very personal stories. And with your group, let's once again, yes, look for the keywords that summarize your perception before and now that you are teachers. Yes. Yes. Don't worry, don't worry. So something that I see that repeats a lot in and then I play some very music lesson. Yeah. So what's your love or problem with lesson plan? What can you tell them?
Well, I remember when my high school teachers always share like what I have to make information for the day. Like what's the once I make the plans for 1 hour class. And then once I finish it, I apply the activities I want the class to do. I am thinking that because I don't know, it's kind of stressful to think in activity that you consider is going to be good for students, and it's like a headache to that you have an activity, but then you realize that this is not the one about the already studying and you're traveling, and it's I go right now. I go it's very difficult.
I love to see everyone like knowing like. Okay, so, you're talking about lesson plans, we're talking about activities, and also here I saw activities here. What is that, well, you mentioned something about activities, and I think it has to do also with adaptation and selection of learning materials. And it's also related with books. What can you tell about this material, these activities, these books? What can you tell about that?
Sometimes the institution like makes you use the book and you, after studying this BA, you can say that, oh my God, this book is so messed up. Like there are a lot of activities that should be here or that are not worth it to spend time with. But the students already paid for it, so I have to use it. And sometimes it's difficult. These like contrary thoughts of, okay, this is what I know, but this is what I have to do, and how can I make this overlap? It's difficult.
Yes, like, you know, your ideas, but it doesn't match the ideas of the institution or the group. And I think that we're pointing out like this bad activities, like, you know, reality versus this, you know, expectations. And something that I found here really interesting is that one of you mentioned, you know, lesson plans, but also that being a teacher involves more than just standing in front of the class. Come on, it's super easy to tell you that, right? The hands, okay? So, what can you tell me about this? Why is so difficult? Why is not just standing in front of the class?
Sometimes it's social thing that authority brings with like, for example, for me, it's easy when I work with kids because I am the grown up. So it's like, oh yeah, the teacher is best. But when I am with adults, all of my students are older than me. They have like 43, something like that. And I feel very intimidated when I give those classes because I think that they are thinking maybe like, oh, the teacher is just a child, she doesn't know anything, or something like that. It's difficult.
So you will see that the physical appearance also affects the way people see your students.
Yes, or age.
Do you do the same? Do you have a similar account of that? Or physical appearance?
Well, no, I think what I used to have that I can learn, but now that I've been working in a private school, with teenagers, I realize that it is not important. Because, for example, I always use sneakers and stuff like that. And I always talk with my students about I practice a specific sport. And probably they match that idea with my physical activities, you know, that they see me like, okay, those realities are my blend. And so I don't think they even care about that. Say, as long as you have, or as long as you like convey that you can teach them the message. But I think that's more and more important from your
It relates to what they see you really as a child, but like you can also they were not. My God, she knows how to teach.
Yes, I also agree with Cynthia's comments because I used to think that they do or care about the way you look, but I have worked with children and younger students and now with secondary students, and they don't really pay that much attention about how you look. I mean, they might, but they forget it right away. What I agree with Cynthia is that, and what is scary for me is that you are the role, the model of the language that you are teaching. So, like, you are the role model to follow, And I think that is a huge responsibility that I'm kind of, I don't know, sometimes I freak out about that. And, but I think that as long as you can teach them, you are a good role model for them.
Role model.
That's what I want.
Okay, okay.
Scared.
Very well indeed, and then, yes.
Well, this comment about that is more than just standing up in front of the class. I also make this comment to, for example, I work with children. So my job is not only, okay, you want to listen, and go to listen and try, you know, we move a lot of emotional support. You have to work in different learning. You have to know that some disabilities, and how we learn more about this. So it's not just the previous year, where do you go?
Okay. Role model involving your time and effort. And
I think also that what can be said about that is that you not only like studying up in front of the classroom, because you have to be aware of your surroundings. For example, if you're applying to implementing some activity, you have to be constantly aware of how the students are doing, managing the class, also answering questions. So it's not only standing out in front of them and be like, yes, you have to write this and no question and that. Because I mean, something of it, but sometimes like for institutions and all that, it tends to be more student-centered and sometimes more teacher-centered, so you have to be aware of those shifts and changes.
okay, also just like depending on your belief, these two models. Okay. I think that's something that's very usual that, like, as we mentioned before, what the school wants and what we want must match, right? And then we can conclude with this, I think that everything summarizes into, this, even though I was aware that teaching was a difficult thing, it wasn't until I became a teacher that I realized how difficult it was. Tell me what, has it been difficult to be a teacher? Yes, a little. Yeah, you're gonna get used to like probably when you're 6 years So right here, if you see one of the major concepts in this workshop having experiences. You have told them about your experiences as a teacher, you have told them about your students, about this lesson plan, how you have faced these challenges. And now that we're talking about experiences, and you as a teacher, do you consider that experiences will influence the way you see yourself as a teacher?
Yes.
Yes. Take a minute to discuss this question with your group. Do you think experiences will influence the way you see yourself as a teacher? Yes or no, and tell me why. Yeah.
So, sometimes I think about that part that I'm confident, I'm not.
Also know that I am.
I think so it's kind of like, you know,
So I think those students have a lot. And so now I know how much them, like my children best to work. And because that fits into my personality, and my personality is very related to my teaching ability. I think that for me, it was a level which I have not enjoyed because of that way that I have to teach. I don't like to. But I like to do this work as well. Even there is but I think brings to you those bring us and you're like you know so that
This is what you understand, what you need to have the rules to.
yeah.
I think going with carry out the rotation.
We're going to have time to show you 5 minutes. Okay, so what can you tell me about this? Do you think experiences will influence the way you see yourself as a teacher? Yes or no?
Yes.
Does everyone agree? Can you tell me why you consider that experiences will influence the way you see yourself as a teacher? You can raise your hand to participate.
We were talking about the how to improve our learning ability. I think that about the impact of it. But anyway, they have to work with children if they are like really expressing. So the comments that they made about like, oh, you are really hey, this is a good or something like that. These comments is my mind, especially my hair, and like I'm well. So this, I have to continue in this way because they are in class, they are learning also. So the comments about the respect not only the class.
The comments your students make. Tanya, and then who's-
They were talking about that their experience in good or bad students, so to grow as a teacher. And, for example, I had a bad experience teaching secondary level. So I never wanted to teach them again. I don't really enjoy it as much now I'm the rest teacher and I really want to work with them. And those kind of, experiences help you like understand what you are, what you prefer, and your
Yeah, understand what kind of teacher you are. Yeah. And do you already know what kind of teacher you are?
Shape my, not only my teaching, but my personality even, because I think that, it's something that impacts you a lot emotionally, like you have to deal with a lot of emotions and giving classes or doing something that is challenging at the beginning and then do it and do it successfully, it's like, okay, I'm doing it, I'm here and I have done it before. So now that I have like a little bit more of experience, I feel like more confident with myself and with my teaching because it's like, okay, that was difficult for me and I did it. So now this that seems like more difficult and more like it's like motivating.
It's motivating, like, to know your, like, even I think that you can remember the strengths and weaknesses, that you can identify your teaching practice.
I agree with Lucy's comment. I think that it is teaching impacts your personality and also can be like the other way around. For example, for me, my personality is so related to my teaching persona that for me it's really difficult to teach in a level which I'm not comfortable to teach in. And for example, like as Tanya said, for me, it's like the opposite, like the other way around. I don't like to work with children. I like to work with teenagers or maybe adults, but and yeah, it's because like my personality doesn't fit, and I try to fit my personality like in these two personas when I was teaching children, and for me it was really tiring, like to pretend to be someone that I'm not, and so I think that experience me that thing in me, but also I was thinking that experiences like with the administrators, like the institution policies, are part of teaching experiences. I mean, I think that also is important because if you have had some experience, a bad experience with that institution, you wouldn't like to be like working there once again. I'm not thinking.
You're really a really interesting concept about this teaching persona. Also, you like to be to be someone else.
Yeah.
Yes. And obviously, the person that we are inside the classroom and outside the classroom is going to be different. But you're actually to pretend to be someone else. And have you felt like this? Like this imposter syndrome? Sometimes. Why?
Because I know that for example, as a teacher, have to be like a very focused person, like this kind of teacher, I don't know to focus on this. But for example, now at my age, I'm not like this kind of person. I want to be always in a computer working. Unless you're going to be in a bar or that's it, making. I don't know. Some students used to see me like this. But by the end, they have to be for them because in the club, I am one person. Outside the club, I am another person.
Yes, and teachers don't live at schools. That's something that the kids don't realize when they're like 10 years old, probably. And something that I found really interesting that we're discussing about this bad and good experiences. I think that both have like the same impact in our lives as teachers and the way we see ourselves as teachers. Badly. Okay, but I overheard something that you were mentioning about like some people like discipling the profession.
Yeah, well, this is my favorite.
Yeah.
But for example, I read some other people where I even read articles where people mention that there's a high dropping rate in the teacher because they have bad experiences that they didn't feel supported enough, so they decide to leave the profession altogether. And I think that that can be one extreme of the experiences to feeling so disheartening that you feel that the only solution would be to leave altogether. And that's why I say also experiences are very impactful, whether they're good or bad, because if they're good, they can have a different reaction where you feel like, yes, and I know I can do it, and still want to be the teacher. I want to be even a better teacher, but if it happens the opposite, then it makes you feel that way. If you don't feel like you don't have enough confidence in yourself and you don't feel supported and you don't know that your way out of it. So quick.
Yes, and now that Pat is mentioning this, I have a confession to make. And in my early years, in my first 3 years of teaching, I was thinking of dropping out of profession. I was planning on becoming something else. I don't know what, but I was planning on something else. Just maybe, review of this. I was working in a community English program in a university, and we were, it was like our obligation as teachers to use only English. And I was teaching, it was mostly engineers in this group, and it was like really funny to see their faces, these black faces, just pretending that they understand, just nodding their heads, you know, like, yes. And you were like, yes,
Yes.
no,
No.
yeah. And I was getting really frustrated because I was like, okay, I have worked, I have studied this many years. Now I'm here, and people don't understand. Am I the problem? Are they the problem? But there was this student. His name was Luis. He was studying an engineering as well. And I remember asking his face, he was like, yes. And like he was silent. All the semester he was silent. He was not performing well in the evaluation, but it was only like one day that was like, he started like this. You know, like, what's that? Is this a new God, you know? But yes, we started participating. He started to get involved. And at the end of the semester, he told me, teacher, I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. I didn't understand that. Please, you don't have to tell me this. Like, come on. And, but you know, like, but teacher, you like see your effort, like you like I mean, like, please, you can do it. You can do it. Seeing your effort, seeing your support, I was planning, I started to participate, to try because you were trying so hard that I had to do this. Luis, that class was 3 levels, was basic, intermediate, and advanced. Luis was the 3 semesters with me. In advance, he was like a 10 student. And he was like doing excellently every single college. And at the end, in advance of the teacher, like if you see this, it was because of you. Yes. And I was like, don't cry, don't cry. Remember, you teacher, don't cry, yes. Yeah. And you know, like in this moment, I was like, I'm doing my work. And like as you say, like I was thinking on with this. I was not going to be a teacher. But when Liz came to the teacher this. And now he started like he had like a mini business and like he's working so quite very close to El Paso and he's working with people in the United States. Yeah, you know, like, and this made me feel like, okay, this is my life. Yeah. So now that I told you about my experiences, I would like you to please tell me a little about one of your experiences. I will give you this handout. In this handout, there's a link to the application. 1, 2, 3. So one page. In this handout, I'm going to ask you please. We're going to have about 10 minutes. Yeah, just let me give you the handout. Please take one. In this handout, I'm going to ask you please, first of all, think of bad experience. Remember, good or bad experiences down. Okay, and you're going to briefly describe this noteworthy experience in your teaching. Yeah. You're going to tell me about the emotions that you felt in this experience. What was expected of you as a teacher in this situation? And finally, how this experience changed your teaching practice. 3 more minutes, okay? Ready? Not an elevation. Okay. So right here, I will ask a couple of you to share their experiences. Yes, who wants to help with this? Okay, Lucy. So, Lucy, can you please start with this experience?
Should I read it like from you?
Yeah. Or just brief us very quickly.
Okay, so, last month I was teaching, basic two, the level of basic two. And it was my first time teaching a group of adults. And I was feeling very insecure with my teaching. And in one class, the coordinator entered, it was a director. He was very rude and he interrupted me and he acted like, oh, are you the teacher? I didn't know you when you were very young. He said like the Junta Administrativa was the one who sent it to you because it's an institution that has a lot of like places like in Polanco, Satélite and stuff like that. And I used to work for the Satélite one and then they changed me for the Polanco one. And the director was like being very rude and in front of the students and like I was feeling like undesired or unappreciated. And then when he left the session, all my students were like, oh, he was very rude with you, and well, in Spanish. And they were very mad and they told me like, no, we love your class and you have good material.
Okay. So there were three of you.
Sorry.
It's okay, listen.
It was very important because I thought that I was cutting off. When they told me all these good things, I feel very appreciated. And I think that that's the important thing because they are the ones that I learned. So then they offered to take basic three. And they asked specifically for me, and I felt very good. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
That really bothered me, but my security, my teaching. That's all.
Thank you for sharing this. Yes, never be sorry for crying. It's okay for pleasure. It's a great pleasure. Thank you, Lucy. I appreciate it. Yes, and you mentioned from your report that this experience is more. Yeah. Thank you, Lucy.
I hope I say them.
Yeah, go for it. Thank you for not judging me.
But in my case, it was a hard situation, but it was more about my students. Because they did something inappropriate and well, this situation happened during my teaching time. So I was charged with the responsibility because their parents said that I was not aware or not attentive enough to them. And of course, I feel disappointed. I feel sorry, frustrated and sad, of course. Was they asked me to be more aware of them and to be able to manage all things. And it was difficult for me because I was studying and I know that I'm working with teenagers, but not always everything is under our control. So I feel really, I don't even have an idea what to do at the time. And I think that this situation, because of this situation, I became more strict with my students. I think that I didn't want to, but I need to fit or to change my persona as a teacher because of this situation, and I think that I also modify my dynamic. I try to prevent all things around me, and but remember, we are not just required to be in front of the class. Instead, we are also required to be aware of the things that are happening around us. So yes, it was a really hard situation because even some of the teachers on this institution for me, it's okay, it's not your problem. But I felt that it was my problem because I couldn't avoid that situation.
And I think that sometimes as teachers we get overwhelmed. That influence a lot, the way that we feel of ourselves, the way that we see ourselves. Okay, thank you for sharing. Okay. So that's what you can tell us about the
Well, but the topic is only the topics. Chinese. In the work time between the organizations. Everybody please join when they want, or if they want to join, something like that. But it happens to me that it's very usual that 3 weeks now, in a session, the other one feels very one person, or some other, no one, my session. And then well, because I was wrong materials which they paid for the activity they want to play, what about to make the session published, but then no one shows interest in all the fields. And was like, I don't think I still something different. Maybe the I just interesting or because no one joined to my classes. And for me, it was like a new topic because I was about writing the Zoom and the file that I just wanted to event. I was watching a lot of them, trying to TikTok to spend some time. And then when I just so like it was like 10 minutes of the last video, that's my concern because I was feeling angry, sad because I felt like Bible is taking the gospel that makes for them because it's not for me, it's for them. But then I felt to remember to comprehend a lot of my teachers in high school, in school, because the group I was in really high school, it was an awful kind of person that was, and my teachers always the family the parts are. Now I like then I am depending in how they fare because they work hard in the classes because some people don't work attention to their own work. I come to how they felt in the situation because I felt in the same situation.
And that's something like there's this I don't know if you have heard things that if you have kids or something like that, you pay for what you did as a student. Yeah. So that well. So just to wrap this up, what do you consider that has affected more you in the way that you perceive yourself as a teacher? Like the bad or the good experiences? The people be like old, you know, like, because they have different like outcome. Because I think that, like you said, like you have felt undecided, you have felt overwhelmed, you have felt that your students feel. Okay, and just to conclude with this part, with this portion, I will ask you with this question. I will conclude this portion. I will ask you to please tell me why is it important that teachers, that means you, reflect on these experiences? Why do you think it's important to reflect on these experiences?
I think it's like I can observe people. So that's really you know what you talk about
self-feedback, okay, what else?
I think it makes you aware of how important to you. For example, I didn't know this experience was that important to me until I tried it. So it can to make you feel more aware of what you think about yourself.
Awareness about how you see yourself, about yourself as a teacher.
I think it's important because we grow professionally, but also like personally. I think that the experiences that we have in the classroom affect us, our teaching practice, our teaching persona, but also like nuestra persona fuera del salón. And I think like those experiences, for me at least, have helped me to realize the type of teacher that I want to be. Like before having these estas materias of the reflexión, I didn't have like a clear idea of what teacher I was going to be or how I was going to portray myself, my students. Then and now I have some clear concepts of what I can implement in my teaching practice and what are the things that I have to work on and what are the things that I don't want to like improve or like belongs to my teacher practice.
Okay, so what else?
I think that is important because you have to consider that in the work journal, we're going to be required to do you didn't study your degree or something like that. Also, I think, well, my parents are teachers, and when I decided to study this degree, they told me that this is going to be difficult because nobody teach you how to teach in this.
Yes, you know, like the theory versus practice, right? Like all the things that we like, oh, it's for me, it's lesson plan, when you're in front of a classroom and you're faced with this, and like you say, you don't have control on everything. And some people think that teachers are like these ominous beings with a million of eyes and a million hands. But we are really not very prepared for this situation. I have time for one more.
I think that sometimes it keeps you grounded because sometimes it feels like a disconnection between what you really are like what you practice and then what you think of yourself, your perceptions. It could be like in the way of like, for example, in my case, that I feel sometimes a lot make myself feel very small because I'm not confident sometimes. But then experiences like this help me to see that I actually am doing better than I think I am. So it helps you build your confidence. And then the other side, on the other extreme, could be that you can drugs and all of that. But sometimes you need to work on things and you don't realize that. We can help you to like probably get more realistic image of your experience.
And say it gets you to feel you know, feel grounded, but also something that you are having all mentioned during this, is the way that you see yourself. Yes, because we are all aware, for example, Lucy, that you are not the teacher that this person wants to be you are. Because you have your own perception as well as you, and you're caring for your students, even parents didn't, they were not aware. But you know, that's something that relates to, I'm going to just conclude with the concepts that I wanted to share with you in this portion with the identity. Yes, with the way that you see yourself. And the way that you see yourself is going to differ with the way all people see. Yes, and it's like in the image of the inner self, based on your age, your gender, your values, beliefs, life experiences. And Lucy mentioned something really interesting. It wasn't like crime, it's very like how important it is. And I'm going to ask you to go like through all your life, but just take some time to think what are the things that have brought you to this place. Yeah. So I can ask you why did you decide to become a teacher? Are you happy with the way teacher? Do you want to continue with this profession? You have all these ideas. Yes. And also this also becomes a professional then. We have all this talk about identity, but now professional identity has to do with the way you see yourself. And in this case, what kind of professional are you? Yes, you're not only teacher, but you are EFL. Yeah, come on, okay, we're like EFL teacher. And something that you have paid attention to this is that you right now, something that you all share, is that you are working as teachers and that you are studying a PA in English language teaching. And take the most of this community because what you're sharing, what you're learning, the experiences that you're living now as a student and a teacher are going to help you to build the whole skills up as professionals. They are going short term, they change over time in this interaction with teacher educators, with learners, with your students. Yeah, with other teachers, with administrators, and then you mentioned your administrators a lot. You can share the yeah. The interaction with the faces, with the classroom, with the institutions that you work on. And finally, how are you going to reach this? You are the only student issue development. And I would like to read this because it's something really interesting that you mentioned a lot. This is what the process of becoming the best kind of teacher that I personally. Yeah, and it's a process that has started like the day that you enter the classroom, and probably even before. And I would like to read this because it's something that we all mentioned. It's a self-reflective process. You mentioned this self-feedback. Becoming aware of your practices, of what you are doing, or what you are able to do, of the teacher you are and the teacher you want to be. Am I right? And also, it's through questioning all habits that you find alternative ways of being and doing. Yes or no? Yes. Okay, I hope you can sleep today. Yes. And that will be everything. Thank you for attending the workshop. I know. Let's get this circle. So you can like have a very quick evaluation. I appreciate your time and attention.
It was my teacher there.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about our family now? We start talking about that.
Also, you are going to keep this. Yeah. Just let me take a picture. For evidence. And once again, thank you for sharing. I was not able to hear everyone's story, but I wasn't sure where. They were not sad. They were like, how do I say,